Perspective in terms of how this particular crisis is to be dealt with. We are joined by Dr. Rakesh Mishra, who is the Director of the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology. Dr. Mishra, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us on this broadcast on WION. And let me begin by asking you this. Now, so far, there has been no confirmed case yet of this coronavirus infection in India. We now expect that about 300 of Indian nationals who are stuck in Wuhan will be brought back. I would like you to give us an understanding as to how this exercise will be carried out and how it will be ensured that no infection spreads in India.
Well, this new coronavirus is in fact like a normal common cold virus. So precautions that we need to take is the same as we take for the common cold viruses, which means when the people are brought, they are kept in isolation, which means they are not mixing with people, because this virus spreads from the sneezing and spitting and from breathing, this airborne transmission. So if the people are kept for a couple of days in isolation, they don't develop symptoms, so that means they are free, because normally after infection, in a couple of days you should get the symptoms, which is of running nose, fever, and these sorts of things. And if these people are those who develop such symptoms, they should be checked if the same virus is there or something else. And if the same virus, then we have to treat them, which is there is no specific treatment. They have to be just given symptomatic treatments and given lots of fluid and so on. And normally people recover. This is not a very lethal thing like many other viruses, but it spreads faster. So if they are taken proper care, we don't have to really panic so much. But care has to be taken that they should be kept in isolation till we are sure.
Right, it's interesting. Now you said that this is a virus that is very similar to the kind of virus that causes common cold or flu. What are the symptoms does a person exhibit, if infected by this novel coronavirus, that would be different from the symptoms that would be exhibited by a person who, let's say, has common cold?
So the symptoms are really typical of the common cold, which means running nose and fever, and because the virus goes into the cells of respiratory tract, generally in the upper tract, and later it can go even more down, which becomes little more concern. And the symptoms are very similar, as I said. So only thing is whether it's a new coronavirus or common cold, that can be tested by standard tests now have been made available, which is based on the genetic material of this virus, which is basically RNA, and those tests can be done in few hours. So we can figure out what actual variety is, but the symptoms are really like a common cold symptom. People will feel feverish, running nose, essentially.
No, it's rather interesting when you say that, symptoms are very much like common cold, because trust me, in Delhi, which is now experiencing its winter, pretty much half the people here in this city have runny noses and are coughing. But, for the common public, what precautions can we take to ensure that we stay safe from coronavirus?
Yeah. So actually it's very simple. So one is that we should make sure that we wash our hands frequently, because the virus is, so we should understand how it spreads. If somebody sneezes, somebody coughs, that is the way virus comes out. And if you are too close, directly comes in your face and makes contact. Or if you have, it has sneezed on some material which you touch with your hand, and then you touch your nose or your eyes or your mouth, that is the way it goes. That's the only way it will go. So if we are making sure that we are not touching our nose, eyes and mouth, and wash our hand with the disinfectants, this should be pretty safe. And avoid going to crowded places. We are still not sure whether somebody who is having the infection but is not showing the symptom, will that person will be spreading or not. That is unclear. It is best to avoid. Best to avoid going to crowded places. And those who have any cough and fever or running nose, they should keep themselves away, stay home and rest and take a lot of fluid, and that's the way to take care of this. And when you are sneezing, make sure that you either snow with your arm bent so that there's no spread, or use tissue or handkerchief so that the aerosol that comes out doesn't go very far. So yeah, these are actually just very simple precautions that we need to take care.
Absolutely, indeed. Very simple steps of hygiene will go a long way in ensuring that the chances of contracting something like this are reduced. But also, doctor, if you can shed some light on how a virus like this can suddenly break out, because no one had heard about this virus till the middle of December, and now this is what the world is talking about. Is this something like a virus that humans had never found before, or is this a result of mutation? How does a virus like coronavirus just pop up?
Yeah, so the coronavirus and like many other viruses, they are very simple organism. In fact, the simplest living organism. But the most tricky thing they have is they keep changing. So they do mutations, and that is normal process of the life. All the living beings have mutations, and that's how they evolve. But viruses being simple, their mutations are more prominent, more of functional relevance. And since they are in a very, very large number, most of the mutation, even they are harmful, it doesn't matter if some harmful for the virus. But some mutation, when they acquire new features, then they pick up and start spreading. And viruses like this, which are spreading by human contact and by through airborne infections, so it is easier that they spread because easier for them to spread because somebody sneezes and somebody else catches. So typically they originate in one place because some mutation becomes more successful among other viruses that are around in that vicinity, and then it starts to spread like any other infection originates from one place. So they keep coming once in a while. Many things we are of not consequence, we don't notice them. But some of this, like when we become a little bit more troublesome, people notice them. But typically they evolve, and some of the forms become more infectious, and that's how we notice them.
Absolutely, indeed, Doctor. Now, the latest information that is coming in, that 3 people who were kept in quarantine because they were exhibiting symptoms that could be of coronavirus, they were tested, and apparently the results have come which state that they are negative, and still there is still no confirmed case of a coronavirus that's been reported in India. Lastly, just before I let you go, if you could shed some light on how is this novel coronavirus different from, let's say, something like SARS or like MERS, that is the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. They're all said to be viruses that belong to the same family group, but yet they are different. What is the difference in this?
Right. So the difference, these are all same family viruses, which means most of the features, the way they look in a microscope, they will look very similar, except their DNA, their RNA sequence is different. That's how they are distinct from each other. The thing about the new coronavirus is it's like SARS or MERS, but SARS were more lethal, like it led to 10% lethality, while this one is very small. Lethality is less, but it spreads more efficiently. That is the problem with this. But it will spread more, but it will not cause so much of lethality. Probably lethality is 2-3% based on what we have heard so far. But if we take care once, we know then it should be possible to control it efficiently. It should not be much a problem. I'm happy that the system is taking care of it, and media like you are spreading people how to conveying people how to take care of this. That should be an effective way to go about it.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Dr. Rakesh Mishra, for joining us from Hyderabad and giving us information as to what this virus is and what are the precautions that we need to take in order to ensure that the chances of this virus spreading are in fact brought down. Thank you.